In this video, we dive into printing huge prints, avoid making expensive mistakes, and the practical guidelines we go by to make sure that we do our very best to deliver top quality to our clients. In another video, we cover how we printed the biggest photo in Iceland. It was 113 square meters or about 1216 square feet. Now that's a big print, and in that video we dive into technical details about resolution and things like that. In this video we're going to talk more about practical details like what to be aware of, new techniques, AI and things like that. Let's talk sizes. Going on site and getting a feeling of how the interiors are of building you're putting the photos in is very important. This is where we have found mock-ups to be very helpful, both to show the client what he's going to get and also to make sure that we have a good feeling of how the photos that we are selecting and presenting to the client are going to fit into the interiors. Going on site is also very important, and making the mock-ups to get a feeling of how big do you want the photos to be. One of the biggest questions we had to answer: what materials are we going to use? Are we going to print this on canvas, which is very good if you have windows against the photo because it doesn't glare? Are we going to use aluminum? Are we going to use Chromolux? Are we going to use plexi, acrylic plexi, or fine art paper, traditional way, behind glass and with a matte board? Recently we printed a photo 8.2 meters long, about 8.2 yards long, and 3.1 yard high and meters also. And when we were deciding on what material to use, there were not that really many options. Clipso is a material we have often used. It's similar to canvas. It is kind of a canvas. It has very good properties for resolution, and it gives you a good detail. We find working with locals very important. Then we are talking about the people or the company that's going to print and frame everything. If something comes up, problems, mistakes, anything, then quality control is in a way in your hands. It's so much easier to have a local you can just visit and you can discuss the problem. Now all projects have deadlines. I have never seen a project that does not have one. Of course you have to respect the deadline, and what we do is make account for some extra days depending on the project, but usually you have to expect something to come up. In our experience, the client usually gives you a deadline, and the deadline is a real deadline. It means they're going to open up the company the day after, or the photos are going to have to be up on deadline. Respect deadlines. After selection, we re-edit everything. If the client has selected a photo which is more than 1 or 2 years old, you re-edit everything. So we take the photo from scratch, preferably the raw file, and start over. Why? Because we live in an ever-changing world, and technology has evolved so fast that you have to be on your toes to have everything as good as possible. Talking about Lightroom has changed dramatically just in the past 3 years. So what you could do 3 years ago is totally different from what you can do today. Lightroom is our basic software, I would say. We use software like Topaz Labs, the gigapixel, the noise version and the sharpen version. We recently started to use luminar, and it's proven to be very good. We don't use it much. We use it to finalize selected images, not all of them, but what I find it to be good in is giving, when you have edited everything in Lightroom and you are almost happy with the photo, I use luminar often to give it that final punch. Finally, there is another reason we like to re-edit everything. It's got nothing to do with the software. It's got to do with us. Over the years, you get better at editing. Take your favorite images, do them again. Now let's talk file formats, TIFF and JPEGs. We use 16-bit TIFFs for everything. JPEGs are just fine for almost everything. Almost everything, I would say up to 1 meter or maybe just over 1 meter. Keep in mind that we are talking from our experience. I'm not sure many have experienced this because not many print more than 2-3 meters wide or big. That's where you can make really big, expensive mistakes. What we have noticed with the JPEGs is that you really have to examine the file. You have to zoom into everything, examine everything, look for artifacts. It's not enough to zoom 100%. Sometimes you see strange banding, strange artifacts. If you work with TIFFs, you don't have this problem. This is our experience. Take this with a grain of salt because I can't exclude the possibility that we are doing something wrong. And it's amazing how many problems disappear when you use TIFFs or PNGs. No two printers are the same, so it's very important to order test prints. If you're printing big, it's a vital step to avoid mistakes. You have to get a test print because no two printers are the same. The profiles the printers are using are different, and to make sure you're getting the colors you want, you need test prints. And it's often not just the colors. It's often my experience that if you edit a photo in a certain way, it's very likely, depending on your screen and the calibration, that you might get darker prints than you expected. What we had to keep in mind was how close people are standing to the photo. When you are thinking about resolution of an image, you need this resolution for magazines that you are reading or looking at a very short distance, reading distance. If you're standing further away from the image, you don't need 300 dots per inch. So the viewing distance is a vital part of deciding on how much flexibility you can give yourself in enlarging the image you have. The printer needed for this is a 5-ton monster. It takes about 5 meter wide rolls of canvas, Calypso canvas, and it can print 50 meters long. The installation of images like this are something that you have to leave up to the professionals or learn it yourself. But making mistakes is also expensive this way, because if you're cutting the image with a knife and one mistake, print everything again. Working with professionals is most of the time a very good idea. When we finished the project, I was very happy, and of course Gyda also. It was her photo. She shot the photo of Goðafoss waterfall in North Iceland. We were very happy to see that the colors were exactly as we had imagined them, and the brightness of the image was also what we had been hoping for, and everyone was happy. So, mission accomplished. If you want to see more videos like this, check out our channel, Gudmann and Gyda. We have many videos like this. I never know what the next video is going to be about. Last video was me camping in snow, chasing ptarmigans, for photography. We have a lot of videos about adventures, sometimes something you can learn something from, most of the time wildlife, landscape adventures. Thank you for watching.